Okay, so since at least one person has asked, and this is my third time trying to record this, because, yes, thought I'd show off my live rig, there's nothing much to it. So, here we have Ableton running on the computer, on the second monitor, and you know, I can control it with the keyboard. We have 1996 and Spoon loaded up here. So that's simple enough. On the main monitor we have an Excel spreadsheet, and it's, yeah, just tells me where all the stuff I'm triggering is. And, you know, this keyboard has numbers on it. I put numbers on it. So I could more easily get to things. I could easily find where they are, and blah. So, you know, everything's just really basic and simple. And like, so before I used OBS on the third monitor on this computer, but the only problem with that is that Ableton would constantly have CPU dropouts, and it just didn't run well at all, and it wasn't a good experience, and it meant that I couldn't use ASIO drivers. So, since I have switched to using a Behringer sound card, just a cheap little one, and then taking the second audio out of this Focusrite, going into the back of the Behringer, and that's gotta be how you pronounce that, I don't care really that much, and going into a laptop running OBS, which, you know, takes so much strain off the computer and enables me to play live properly. I might switch to a different solution at some point. I might, Icecast is a thing that I'm looking into. Also, I thought I might as well show off the process of making one of these live tracks. I'm not gonna do it, from a pre-existing track, because I can't be bothered, and there's none that I can think of that will be good for live. Because a lot of the tracks, I haven't figured out a way to make live versions of them yet, and you'll see why. Because a lot of the time they're so complicated that I can't just convert them to the keyboard. So, I'll just, you know, blah blah blah, got a little thing. Okay, so I already have Ableton set up to have this launch option to be toggle, whereas with Trigger, if I click the play button again, it will just trigger it again. But if it's on toggle, I can turn it on and off. There is other modes like, you know, gate, where it only plays as long as you're holding it down. Haven't experimented with repeat, and I don't know what it is at all. I can only assume that it repeats a bar or something if you're holding it down. But let's keep it on toggle. So I'll give it a little bit of movement. I'll give that to a slider. It's kind of it. So we'll go into the MIDI tab and we'll select the clip. We'll go over to the keyboard and we'll, you know, note 1. We'll also go over to the FM and slider, and then we can like control it from the keyboard. And like, when you have way more things going on, it gets a little bit more complicated than that. But then we gotta write the Excel spreadsheet, and like that's way less work. It's literally just there are some things, like when I did the personal computer stuff. With this, it's a lot more. I separated it into 90 BPM and 110 BPM stuff because it's multiple songs in one project file. I've never done more than 3 songs in one project file. And I didn't know how I was going to do it, because I've got the keyboard, but like, it only goes up to 29. And you know, we got all the black keys. And like, we can go up octaves, but switching the octaves turns into an ordeal because only allows one section of the keyboard to play. But then I figured out a solution. I'll put the unholy keyboard creation on screen. Ableton has an awesome feature that allows you to, instead of using MIDI, use keyboard to control things. So therefore, oh yeah, you also have to turn this off. But that's it. It's the liveness. Everything I can think of to cover right now.